Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between INnoVation and Rogue, starting on World of Sleepers. I said it's a match, but it's a best of 3. Bottom left, we have the red Zerg player Rogue, and in the top right-hand corner, it is the blue Terran player INnoVation. Alright, man. INnoVation's playing really well lately. This is from Katowice 2020. The qualification stages. ESL released them, and I can't remember WCS ever doing that for this round, but man, releasing replays is tight. Alright. Not a proxy from INnoVation, barracks inside his own base. TVZ usually comes down to who can micro their spellcasters better, right? Ghosts versus Infestors and Vipers. Brewlords versus Thors, which, I know, they're not spellcasters, but, anyway. I saw INnoVation beat Rogue using a mech build the other day. Pro tip, Swarmhost is not the answer to Thor, Liberator, Hellbat, Cyclone. Swarmhost is not. Neither are Broodlords. It's just basically Roach Ravager at first, into Lurker, Hydra, Viper. Just abduct the Thors, abduct the Liberators into your little Hydra Lurker ball, and watch them instantly die. It takes a lot of patience, but you can do it. And so can Rogue. Alright, man, so Reaper on the way, no big deal, into an expansion. The Reaper's name is going to be Khadgar. The Guardian Wizard Khadgar, while escaping with the Alliance forces through the last remaining dark portals as their expedition expired, found himself barely making it through. He later found out on the other side that the collapsing portal threw him into the future, where the Dominion soon took him into custody and had him put into a psychiatric facility in order to address his belief of being from another world in time. Once the Dominion finally bought that he was mentally stable, they registered him for the Reaper program, where Khadgar hopes to be declared KIA, only to try and open a portal back home to serve his true purposes as Guardian of Azeroth. Yeah, that's rough times, Khadgar. I hope you get home, because you don't belong here at all, do ya? Anyway, Zerglings are out, Queen coming in. We've seen the dance. Third base going to toss down here from Rogue at about 230, right on the nose. And INnoVation, what is he working on? This going to be a factory? Indeed it is. Are we going to get any of them beautiful battle cruisers to start off this game? Doesn't seem like we are, as it is going for a very quick third CC, which this build is very susceptible to dying to basically a 2-base Roach Ravager style attack here. 2 bases with a third base that isn't saturated. You know the drill. You've seen this before on the channel. So let's see if that's what we get here, or if Rogue just manages to scout in. He's going to try it. He's going to try to scout in and see what's up. But this Marine is very interested in making sure that's at least very hard for the Zerg player to see this third CC. Starport's on the way. I mean, the third CC generally means we're not going to see a fusion core early. We're not going to see battlecruisers fast. Doesn't mean we can't see it eventually. Reaper comes in, sees no lair, sees no roach warning, loving this scout. INnoVation knows. He knows he's fine. He doesn't need tanks. He doesn't need anything. He can get that third base down. The army of Rogue is effectively a handful of lings and some queens. That's it. That is all he can do. He's not gearing up for a major big scary Zerg attack, and INnoVation has to feel pretty good about that. What a beautiful scout that was, though. Man, this Reaper. And he gets out of there alive, too. Like, what Reaper dives into a main base at 3.5 minutes of a Zerg player like Rogue, gets a scout off, and makes it home? Insanity. Creep Tumor goes down just before the Hellions arrive there. Splash damage, attacking the Queens, actually hitting the Tumor a little bit, which is a good move. It's a great move. It takes a lot of micro, but definitely somebody like INnoVation has the spare APM for it. Overlord Scout at 4 minutes. Gonna try to get in here and see stuff. And he does see the third CC and the starport. So that's pretty good. That's a fusion core. Hey, remember when I was like, this probably means no fusion core early? Well, there's definitely a fusion core, which was not scouted by the Zerg player, but he saw the third CC, and he knows I probably need to take a fourth at this point. He's actually up 47 to 36 in worker count. Is he still alive? Khadgar! He has no kills. Okay, well, he's dead now. He was doing fine, but now he's toast. Hellions cruising across the map, trying to see what they can roast up on this side of Rogue's section of World of Sleepers. And it is a battle cruiser on the way. Alright, INnoVation. Going for the BCs. I thought he wasn't. That drone walking through a war zone. Takes a couple hits, but makes it out. Good control on these Lings. Not bad, but only severely wounds 4 of them. All of the Hellions are alive, and 4 Hellions going whoosh on your mineral line is bad. So pretty good stuff there for just YOLO Hellions. Ooh, 3 or 4 more go down there. Not the best control from Rogue at all. 7 of them die. It's still 55, 247 workers, but INnoVation third base is landed. He's muling it up, and those kind of things, those kind of attacks, that kind of damage taken early for a Zerg player can be bad news. Look at him landing the Viking to kill creep tumors. That is a pretty good play. That is a pretty smart play there out of INnoVation. Now look who doesn't have a wall is kind of the trick here. That SCV runs through a war zone and manages to survive. Man, SCVs and drones just surviving all the livelong day, walking through incredibly dangerous locations on the map. Rogue's 4th base is about 50% complete. Loving that timing from him. Getting a Roach Warren. Going for a lair inside the main base. Got himself a macro hatch. I need to make macro hatches. I just need, when there's an early third base and you're in macro style and not really making much of an army, a macro hatch is incredibly important to help you spend your money. The pros do it. Everybody should do it. So when I'm playing out on twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin a couple times a week, I really need to remember macro hatches. Anyway. Battlecruiser comes in, but at 6.5 minutes, I really don't expect him to get a whole lot done. As the queen count is already very high, there are 7 of them on the field right now. We're going to go for a Spire to try to handle this. I mean, there's another Battlecruiser on the way, so having a Spire would not be a bad idea. And there we go. Tossing it down, trying to uproot, build another Spore, move a Spore over. Where's this Spore? There it is. Okay, Spore coming in. And burrowing quickly to try to get a shot off. Not happening. Reaction time is pretty good on these queens. Zerglings! Oh, they get a couple tanks on the other side of the map. Not too bad, guys. Boy, are those the only tanks that INnoVation has? Those were tanks only. Those were INnoVation's only tanks. Right there. Yamato's done. One-shotting one of the queens. Taking shots regardless. The queens will fight on in the absence of their friends. So a 1-kill battlecruiser. Did he really only get... Okay, this one has 3. But that was defensively. So that battlecruiser that came over killed 1 thing. And it was a queen. That it Yamato'd. That's a pretty good defense by Rogue. I'm pretty impressed by it. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. Yamato firing again. Getting another kill there. 8 kills total, but the queen count is nuts. The Spire is about to finish here. At some point, Rogue has to think, how many battlecruisers are we dealing with? And the answer is another one is definitely on the way. It is going to be more factories. So we are looking at INnoVation going for that mech style, which I don't know. Is this creeping into the meta in StarCraft 2? Are we going to start seeing this more and more often? Because it kind of used to be an oddity, right? Somebody would go some version of mech against Zerg, and it never really worked out. And I don't know all that much is what's changed in the balance patches, you know? Like getting rid of Infested Terrans. Infested Terrans were never part of reasons that mech didn't work. I mean, maybe it was a reason the battlecruisers weren't as viable as they should be. So maybe that's it. Maybe they just feel more comfortable throwing down their battlecruisers, knowing that Infested Terrans with their incredible APM versus enemies that fly, they're no longer around. Rogue tossing down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th base, 5th hatch here. INnoVation's making his own 4th command center and trying to blue flame Hellion his way to victory here. Triple pumping Thors. Now, this is what we're tricky about, right? Thor's really, really good unit. They outrange battlecruisers. They outrange, well, they do outrange battlecruisers, but they also outrange broodlords. So, again, you need Vipers. We talked about this. You need Vipers. You need to be able to abduct these enemy Thors, these enemy BCs into areas where they don't want to be and where they're instantly going to be killed, just to whittle down the army that way. You really can't survive multiple engagements headlong with this style of a mech army. Even if you have Swarm Hosts, it just doesn't pay well. So Baneling Nest on the way back home for Rogue. He's working on another macro hatch inside his main base, which I am a humongous fan of. And that's another base setting up on location here for INnoVation. So, game 1's a good one, ladies and gents. We are going right into super macro. I always worry with the best of 3s, it's going to be 3 games of 5 minutes each, and it's going to be like, is this a Sunday series? I don't feel like it's a Sunday series, but this one definitely is feeling like a Sunday series already. 10 minutes, ramping up. Both players effectively maxed out. Maxed up? Is that another macro hatch? Rogue, I'm kind of inspired by your play. More macro hatches, the merrier. Okay, now the trick here, Rogue, is spellcasters. My guy. We're looking at... Okay, an infestation pit is on the way. I was going to say there are no vipers, as there's not a hive yet, and there are no infestors because there's not an infestation pit yet. But infestation pit just finished. Got a bit of a push this way. Got lings at least. Oh! It finished! That was so close to not finishing. Getting a couple of those refineries. The blue flame hellions come in. The lings decide to dart off another way. Rogue kind of attacking into the tanks, but not really. Oh no! Lings got inside the main base. INnoVation. What a terrible mistake there. Letting the lings inside your main like this. I mean, sure, you just pull the SCVs, and maybe it's not as bad as otherwise would be at a lower level, but I mean, they got 7 SCVs in the last bit of time here. And got a missile turret, and, you know, really made it super annoying for the Terran player. This creep spread by Rogue is nuts, though. I'm enjoying it a lot. He's got another... Is that a sixth base coming up? Rogue says, yeah, this is how you handle mech. He's got the first beats all the way down. But I just don't know. Ah, get out of there, lings. Nice map awareness. I mean, I guess, sure, this barracks is scouting over this way, seeing what lings are coming in this direction. But keeping the pressure on Rogue means the creep tumors are allowed to push forward pretty much as far as they want. That's another base from Rogue. Is that a 7th? I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah. That is 7 bases. And INnoVation is sitting on 5 himself, which is great. Not going to complain about it. Corruptor Ball getting kind of scary, but the Thor count is also nuts. We're looking at a total of 4 Thors here. Blue Flame Hellions left alone. Unless you can fungal them to slow them down, you're just not going to catch them and kill them. Not when INnoVation is controlling them with the control that he has. Oh yeah, so many tumors just getting rifled here. New tumors trying to get tossed. Yamato down and creep tumor killed, so that creep tumor is out. The follow-up of the battle cruisers. Kind of baiting on in here with the Hellions, you know. And then it's time to get out because the Corruptor Ball is here. And the Corruptor Ball is scary. INnoVation working on 3-3 for his mech. 3-3 on the way for everybody. +3 missile, +3 armor, and +3 melee for Rogue. I haven't seen that in a while, where a Zerg player just goes for the upgrades for everything, including working on +3 air. Air attack. Woo! Rogue's upgrades. If he loses this game, it's not going to be because of the upgrades. Not at all. Oh, the problem with running your Hellion group into enemy territory is if they're all injured, then one shot will... Okay, well... Remember when I was like, you're not going to kill this Hellion group like that unless you can slow them down. Well, yeah, you can actually if they come all the way onto the creep. Then it's hard getting out of there. So I kind of like Rogue's positioning. I don't like that he doesn't have any spellcasters at all. None. No infestors, no vipers. It is all corruptors. Technically, corruptors are spellcasters, I guess, because they have caustic spray. Which counts. Well, INnoVation's getting ready for a really big, scary push. Pathogen glands on the way. So we're going to see infestors. You don't get pathogen glands without infestors. You really want to start the infestors when pathogen glands is about 50% complete. And then the infestors will pop with the upgrade already finished and start with more energy than they otherwise would have. That's what Pathogen Glands does. So these are 3-3 Thors and 3-3 tanks and 3-3 Hellions and 3-3 all the things right now. Everybody has the upgrades, man. I just don't know about this from Rogue. Dude, they're tanks though? Alright. Yeah, just get on out. What? Ravager, Baneling, Zergling, are you a crazy person? Rogue, you're hurting my heart. You can't do this to me. I guess, okay, Overseers are spellcasters because they have changelings. That totally counts. I mean, this is a situation where Rogue has been allowed to do whatever he wants. And whatever he's... Okay, finally. We got Neuroparasite. So, that works, too. I do prefer Abduct. I think Abduct has caused more rage from the Terran fans on the channel than anything else. Look at how good the Thors are against these Corruptors, though, in single target mode. Whee! Bye! What was that? Something got yeeted into the abyss, man. Yes, I'm 37. Yes, I can correctly use yeet. I'm on the internet. Advanced ballistics coming in from INnoVation. I mean, what's your tier 3 strategy here? It's got to just be Infestor, right? Infestor's the play. We're not really going Broodlords. We have a Greater Spire? We don't have a Greater Spire. So we're not going Broodlords. We're not going Ultras, which I agree with. Ultras in this situation are actually pretty darn terrible when there are this many tanks set up and Thors with these upgrades. And Liberators. So I don't want you to go Ultras. I'm not saying that, but oh, it's a Greater Spire. All right, well, just telling you, Vipers and Lurkers, man. Vipers and Lurkers for days. It's what Raynor does. It's what Cyril does. I feel weird telling a Korean Zerg player what the European Zergs are doing, but I find myself having to do it anyway. That tank goes down to 28 kills and 9 HP, which he is getting repaired. I see a lot of comments recently, why don't Terran players repair their stuff? INnoVation certainly is. We're going to mine this whole map out in game number 1. Is that the plan today? Or are we just going to mine it out? Because I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be a ton of fun. Boy, for all the creep tumors that have died in this game, and that is a total of 30 creep tumors, there are still 97 of them. Got a Nidus network coming in from Rogue. Don't do it, man. Don't go the Swarm hosts. Believe in yourself. I mean, these 3-3 upgrades on these Corruptors are mean. Okay, free battle cruiser. I think maybe that was sacked. Pretty sure INnoVation was like, nah, we don't need battle cruisers anymore. They're not going to do very well for us. All right. Baneling hits. Roaches and Ravagers in, but still too many tanks remaining. The firing on these Ravagers, they're not very tanky at all. I mean, they're better than Roaches. Roaches get obliterated by tank fire, but Ravagers really can't stand in on any circumstances. Again, nothing Zerg has can stand in against this many tanks with these upgrades. You just can't. Not without Blinding Cloud. That's another thing. Vipers do Blinding Cloud. All right, man. Here come the Brood Lords. Oh, how big. Let's see how this works out for Rogue. I don't believe in the Brood Lord's ability to do much here. The Thor count is pretty insane. They're getting repaired by SCVs. This top left base is taken by Rogue, so every single base on this map has now been taken at 17 minutes. Loving it. Nidus Network, or Nidus Swarm erupting. Nothing comes out of it, as there's nothing in it. Is it just a distraction? Look at him coming in here. I kind of like it. Big time attacks. Banelings causing distractions for the Thors. They're not there. You go. Now trying to fire directly on the Broodlords, but I think the reaction time was too slow. And wha-bam! Thank you. That Thor group is now completely obliterated. I think there's another one around here somewhere. But the Planetary Fortress down here, 6th or 7th base by INnoVation gets killed. These Nidus Worms are a minor concern. I don't know how INnoVation has not killed them yet. I've never seen a Terran player who just doesn't immediately kill every Nidus Worm that shows up on their side of the map out of just fear. Out of abject fear. But the Broodlords are rocking with their +3 attack. The Broodlings are all 3/3 too because they benefit from melee and armor upgrades. Dude, this is amazing! Is Rogue gonna do this thing with Broodlords? And I gotta say, it didn't look good. That last engagement was fantastic. Oh, is the creep spread preventing this orbital from landing? Where's your anti-air? Here come the Corruptors. They're trying to win this fight, but the Broodlords are just so susceptible to dying to anything. And this is what I'm talking about. The Thor standing in, getting 3 or 4 or 5 shots on these Broodlords. But too many Banelings supporting. And it looks like Rogue is getting in here to try to wipe out at least what remains of this army. Tanks are falling. That Thor does go down. Additional Thors coming in. The Broodlords are all dead. And Rogue is going into Ultralisks. Oh no. Ultralisks, eh? Okay, well, these Hellions should have transformed into Hellbat mode about 3 minutes ago. They could have finished off this hatchery. Dude, he's going to regret not having killed this Nidus Worm in about 30 seconds here. So maybe he will have killed it by then. Can you imagine Ultras popping out right here? That would suck. So, I mean, INnoVation, for all the damage he's taken, he's still maxed out. He still has a decent bank at 2,000, 2,000. This orbital command does get repaired. Oh, the clutch plays from INnoVation. And here we go. Ling's jumping into the main base. INnoVation largely seems unconcerned about this. He's got to know something I don't know. You don't want 3/3 Lings with adrenal glands inside your main base. I guess maybe there's Thors popping out and they can handle that many Lings. on their own just fine. Thank you. So top left base by a rogue has been taken. Another Nidus Form goes down, but going Ultra Ling Bane into this planetary. Goodbye. Goodbye, everything. And all right, that was an effective attack. Ultras are more mobile than the mech. They're faster than the Thors and they waddle around, especially if they have anabolic synthesis, which they do because they've got little wisps of air coming off their backs. That's how you know what you're dealing with here. These Thors do get out of there just barely. 3 kills, about 36 HP on that Ultralisk. Thors running down on their own. Just getting massacred by Ling Ultra here. Okay, alright. What a game 1! I don't know what to tell you. This has to be INnoVation just sacking the Thors. He decides they're not worth it. Let's go ahead and make a ton of Liberators. Let's make more tanks. I kind of like this. Nothing can shoot up here, so lifting these buildings is beautiful. But a lot more SCVs are dying. Total SCVs killed at 64 to 9 drones. This game 1 for Rogue is going about as well as you could want it to. Man, look at this Ultra creeping in to this base. These mules getting hacked to pieces. SCVs coming in. Wrong place to be. And this feels like a bit of a GG. I mean, INnoVation is maxed out, right? He's got his Vikings, he's got his tanks, he's got his Liberators and his Thors. He's actually landing his Vikings to try to make this thing happen, but INnoVation at 43 SCVs at this stage of the game. His bank's down to 1,000, 1,000. That's an Infestor down. Is that the only Infestor he's made in this game? Alright, well, bottom right base of Rogue does end up getting killed. Counterattack of Zerglings into different mining locations for INnoVation, and more SCVs getting killed. 10 drones down, but it's been a lot more. Oh, here's the Infestor group. They're burrowed. Oh, is this... Does he see the Infestors? He probably saw the Infestors, but they got out of there pretty quickly. I love how Rogue's everywhere, man. I love how he's attacking in different locations, and here's a big attack. I don't know that Rogue wants to lose this base, but can he successfully defend it is the question. Coming in, Neural Parasite on those Liberators, making it easier to take him down with those Queens. And then the bulk of the army does retreat very intelligently from the Banelings and the Ultras. Off-creep engagements, not what you want to do, but the Liberators are gone, which means the tanks are more effective now if you want to attack them on creep. But look how far the creep's been pushed back in this location. It's very nice. And look who's trying to take this bottom right-hand base, INnoVation. Dude, this game 1 might just get an epic tag on its own right. I cannot believe how well these players are doing this and how close this game is at the 22-minute mark of the match. I mean, army supply 142 to 132. INnoVation has lost a bunch of bases, but he's also reclaimed them and is taking some from Rogue, which is really good. I mean, Rogue's gone from like a Roach Ravager Baneling thing to a Broodlord Corruptor Baneling Ravager thing to an Ultra Ling Infestor play with some Baneling support. Ah, is this working? I don't know if this is working or not. Nice Neural Parasite on the tanks, though. Firing, doing that bonus damage versus the armored attacks here, or the armored units. Really nice stuff. Is he really gonna hold INnoVation? Looks like he's barely holding here. Rogue is down to 50 army supply. 50 army supply at 23 minutes. He's replacing them with Lings and Ultralisks. INnoVation knows he needs to jump on this and jump on this now. Rogue's bank is nothing. INnoVation's bank is also now suddenly nothing, as these players are mining out all over the place. This is the best stage of StarCraft, you guys. Caustic Spray going to try to take down this bottom right-hand base. You can't out-repair, but maybe Missile Turret Thor can make something happen. Oh, another hatch does go down, and he saves it with a mass repair and the Thor Missile Turret defense. Oh my gosh, that Hellbat. Look at these attacks. The Hellbats are such an answer to the Lings. Banelings never going to finish up because the Hellbats are in amongst the eggs. Look how brave these Hellbats are. They do a great job. Zergling's coming down to try to jump on top of this tank line, but the tank fire is too much. Largely too much there. None of the tanks die. It's 111 to 55 army supply, and looks like INnoVation has done it. Good game. Wow! INnoVation in 24 minutes and 50 seconds manages to get the win in an insane game number 1. Oh my gosh. That was game number 1, you guys. Game 1. I don't know how INnoVation did that. I really don't. He ends up losing 20 Thors, 27 tanks, all of his battle cruisers, 2 planetary fortresses. And did he not lose any more command centers or orbitals? He didn't. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. But all the Broodlords died, all the Ultras died, all the Corruptors died, all the Infestors were dead. 2 hatcheries killed, which doesn't seem like a lot, but, well, they were the new ones, and that's where the new income was coming in, and Rogue didn't have it going. So, Vipers! I don't know why Rogue is so anti-Viper. He made almost every other unit in the game. For Zerg, he really did. Is there anything he did not make? Hydralisks and Lurkers and Vipers. So he did the exact opposite of what I needed him to do, and he lost. I'm telling you, Rogue. Help a Zerg player out, man. Help us out. Show us how it's done. Okay, so that's game 1. INnoVation is up 1-0 in this best of 3, which, this is really good. This is better than I expected from the best of 3. So let's move into game number 2. We find ourselves on Nightshade, where it is kind of dark here, but it's going to be Rogue and INnoVation again. Top left, the Zerg, and bottom right, this time is INnoVation, in case you're wondering where these players were. Whew, what a game 1 that was. Holy cannoli. That was really, really well played by INnoVation. There were a bunch of battles there where I felt like he lost and he was on the back foot, and then I checked the supply and he'd be maxed out. It's like, INnoVation knows what's up, guys. His macro is insane. His micro is insane. He is one of the 4 horsemen, and he's playing like one of the 4 horsemen today. Now, Rogue on the other side, I need him to make Vipers. I don't know why he's anti-Viper here. Blinding Cloud on tanks is insanely good. Abducting the tanks and the Thors and the Liberators into enemy fire is so good. It feels trivial to watch a really good Zerg player do that. So the fact that Rogue has no interest in it, I don't understand. I'm standing here in front of you, not understanding. So, I don't know. INnoVation is going to go for mech again. It seems like it's a pretty good strategy for him. He's been doing really, really well with it over the last few weeks and months. So, I don't know why he'd switch it up. Maybe, again, that is the new meta. But also, he's incredibly terrifying with Bio, too. It's just the strategies that Rogue was going for in that last game were much more suited for Bio. Anyway, Reaper coming in. Now, this Reaper name was posted on a video that I posted on YouTube in 2017. So, I've said this before. I read every comment anyone ever makes on any of my YouTube videos ever. Because YouTube has a comment feature where you go to a page and it just shows you chronologically the most recent comments on your channel. Right? So if you go to the very first video I ever posted and comment, I'll see it as the top post on that page. So somebody did that and ended up with this one. Necro posting YouTube commenter. A subscriber of Emperor Menk's YouTube's propaganda channel commented on a 3-year-old video, calling into question some of the outdated talking points there. Menks was not having any of it, and sent the commenter straight into the Reaper program as a death sentence. Anyway, Reaper shows up, Lings are out, Queen coming in. Rogue is not a huge fan of going for the really fast third, which is fair, especially against INnoVation where his Reaper can kill you. Like, I feel like if you play poorly enough, this Reaper, ow, gets a kill. Nicely done, Necro posting YouTube commenter. Good things will happen. Where's your third? Oh, the block. The block is on. We didn't get this in the last game. Oh, trying to juke it out. Oh, he's trying to sneak that drone pass, but INnoVation saw. INnoVation knows if I can delay this expansion a little bit more. Ooh, the Queen gets knocked back. The drone has to pull back as a result. There is no speed, and the Reaper decides, all right, the Queen's here, it's time. You can have your third base at 308. It is later than you'll want it to be. 230, 245 is better. 3 is bad. 310 is worse. Is that another command center? Dude, INnoVation's going for this 3cc play, and his scouting is good enough to where he will see if there's a Roach Warren, and he can respond appropriately. But if there's not one, why not get the fast 3cc? Oh, that was an execution for Necroposting YouTube commenter. Wow. I mean, INnoVation's Reaper control is great, but it's not good enough to handle that. That was just fantastic from Rogue. So, again, Rogue is an amazing Zerg player. Makes it all the way to BlizzCon in 2019, which was not that long ago, you guys. It's only February. Zergling's cruising on down. Super Bowl is actually going to start here. Well, I'm casting this a week ago, so if you're watching this, you're like, Falcon, the Super Bowl was last week. Yes, it was, but I ended up casting this a week in advance. I generally like to do that, keep a bit of a buffer going in case some real-life emergencies come up, or I have to take my kids to a basketball game I forgot about, and then we don't lose a day, you know? Overlord, again, this is just carbon copy of Game 1 there, with the Marine and the Viking preventing the Overlord from getting in, but the Overlord still ends up scouting the 3rd CC. So the information is at hand here for Rogue. He knows what's up. Other than making 9 drones at a time, what is he doing? Well, he's got evolution chambers coming in. Spreading creep like a total boss. A couple Hellions trying to get up here, but there's Queens fairly well defending both of these openings. That 3rd base is extremely wide open. This is not World of Sleepers, where 3 bases are basically free. This Viking's going for a scout. Maybe trying to find Overlords and just failing miserably at it. But yeah, definitely taking the extra gas here at about 40-50 workers. Working on 1-1 melee. And he scouts. Oh, that's a Spore. I thought that was the Spire, but there's not a lair, so derp. Herpa derp. But the saturation levels on this 3rd base are high enough to where I just don't see any kind of a massive Roach Ravager style attack, especially considering the fact we don't have a Roach Warren. So Rogue is not going to be aggressive at all. There's definitely a 4th hatch just now coming in. INnoVation's 3rd has landed, and INnoVation does have the Fusion Core, and he's going for the battle cruisers, and he's going for Yamato. So is that more factories? He's doing the mech again, you guys. INnoVation is feeling really good about the state of mech today in StarCraft 2. Like, really good. So let's see what Rogue does. Does he go for the same strategy that, in fairness, I feel like there were points where he almost won the game in Game 1. But then, again, those situations... Man, taking these Queens down with a mass Hellion play. This is a lot of Hellions. This might just actually go super south for Rogue right now. The battlecruiser comes in. The Queens are getting sniped off by the Hellions and the battlecruisers trying to reburrow Spores. Oh, no. This is really bad for Rogue. He's going to lose all of the drones at the 3rd base. The Hellion count is insanely good. Drones running for their lives. Queen's trying to fight, but there's no Roach Warren. There are no Banelings out. Finally taking down all but 2 of the Hellions, but that is a brutal hit to take in the first 6 minutes of a game, is to lose 13 drones. Sure, all the Hellions died. Question mark? Yes. Okay, so the battlecruiser ends up getting a couple kills there. Ling counterattack. Trying to get into this 3rd base and maybe get some of the damage done. Get revenge on all the drones that died there. There you go. Got 2 or 3 drones, or 2 or 3 SCVs down this way. And that's not bad. 12 SCVs. That went a lot better than I thought it should have. Okay, so Rogue evens the score quite nicely. It is 73 to 54 workers. Rogue is like, I'm fine. Don't you worry about me. I hurt your economy more than you hurt mine, relatively speaking. And it is a Spire coming in. Go for Hive. Go for Hive. Just use the Vipers, Rogue. Use the Force. Zerglings trying to get in. The wall just comes up, which means you can kill the wall. It's not bad, right? Yeah, look at that. Forcing cancels on a couple of those supply depots, slowing down the build process. That's super annoying. Battlecruiser 1, Battlecruiser 2 operational, heading out across the map. 8 Mutalisks on the way. What? Who makes mutas against battlecruisers? I don't. It's not a great idea. Alright, well, Yamato says... A couple Queens die instantly. Spores take a surprisingly long time to kill. Alright, so the battlecruisers are unconcerned. until the mutas show up, and then they decide it's time to flee. Okay. Alright, I guess. Meanwhile, Thors gets started instantly from INnoVation out of his factories. Is he tossing up? Yep, 5 missile turrets at a time under construction at all 3 of his bases. You know how to handle mutalisks. You've been dealing with mutas since early Wings of Liberty. Since StarCraft, man. StarCraft 1 had mutalisks. And INnoVation actually played Brood War under the name Bogus back in the Brood War days. I've cast a game of his, actually, out on the channel. And he was good. He was really good. He was very young during those times. But the mutas are doing what they can, as there are no Thors yet. So let's make sure the tank count gets wiped out a little bit. The battle cruisers you don't want to directly engage with. Nicely done, though. Tank count is knocked all the way down to 0. It's 3 BCs, 3 Hellions, and 2 Thors army supply for INnoVation right now. It doesn't seem like a lot. It is 46 total supply. Rogue expanding again as much as he wants. The creep spread is connecting all of his bases fairly well. I think, yeah, you can't see that, but the creep is coming up and talking. Hitting there. Ah, denial of upgrades would be so good. Denial of upgrades. Battlecruiser jumps over. SCV's trying to get in. No! Denies. Vehicle plating level 1. He's trying to get level 2. Oh my gosh, these mutas are so cost efficient. They're killing SCVs, and they're going to deny flyer attacks. Oh, vehicle weapons level and weapons level 1 goes down too. The mutas are flying around. 11 SCVs out. It's 63 workers for INnoVation. Who goes mutalisks versus mech, I say? Rogue says, shut up, Falcon. I know what I'm doing. And it is a fair point. Oh, hang on. There's Thors over here, though. Ow. Ouch. Yeah, Thors mean insta-dead mutalisks. Oh, gosh. Okay, not in that one. Not that time. But anyway, Rogue has been doing ridiculous mutalisk control, at the same time expanding a million times, at the same time going for an infestation pit. He's got roaches, he's got lings cruising around the house. Burning down the house. Ravagers coming in. INnoVation not really replacing his worker count. He's not making any SCVs at all. This is bad. This is bad for INnoVation. I know I've said this before in game 1 and he won it. But, like, it's not making new workers to replace the ones that died. I mean, in fairness, he's on 3 bases. So you don't need many more than 66 workers on 3 bases anyway. And if you can't land his 4th, he doesn't need them. But that's a bad problem to have, because then you're not having a 4th. And the Zerg player's expanding like an insane person, taking the 12 o'clock position now for a 5th. So, actually 6th. That is a 6th base, Falcon. Learn to count. 1, 2, 3, and now you can count to 3. If anyone can name that, what that's a reference to, I will give them a cookie. That is 32 banelings, though. That is a sound nobody likes to hear. In any race, Zerg hates hearing that sound too, but Protoss and Terran also dislike it. Centrifugal Hooks is coming in, and that 3rd base is landing, but it's pretty tenuous. I mean, INnoVation has his entire army all balled up together here for safety, leaving this 3rd base pretty darn exposed. That said, Rogue is not heading that direction, so I think he's going to be okay. Hive is coming in at 11 minutes, which is better than we got in the last game, so maybe we will see some Vipers after all. He is going double Nidus network, though. I am sort of concerned about. Please don't make swarm hosts. Please don't make swarm hosts. You know what, in this situation, though? How many Hellbats are there? There's a lot of Hellbats. Don't make swarm hosts. So this Roach Ravager, Mutalisk, Corruptor, Baneling, Ling style thing. I'm telling you, they could get a jump on this 3rd, and the Terran army would be pretty slow to respond to it. Or just gonna attack into the teeth of the army. Okay, I don't know what you're seeing here, but by golly, the Thors are going down. A lot of Banelings are out. The Roaches and Ravagers throwing out Corrosive Biles on all the things, and that might be it for INnoVation. He has 24 army supply remaining, and that's your good game. INnoVation goes down, and Rogue ties it up in our best of 3. We will get a 3rd game, ladies and gentlemen, but yeah. That Mutalisk attack, delaying those upgrades, killing those SCVs, and INnoVation not really ever able to get his economy up and rolling until it was too late. That was the key. That was the key to the whole thing. Well done. The Mutalisk tech switch in the middle of a mech game. Insane, but it worked. Can you call it crazy if it works? I don't know that you can. So 32 SCVs down, which is a lot in only a 12-minute game. All 3 battlecruisers died in that final engagement, I feel like it was. Picking off those early tanks was really big too. And I mean, just look at the map here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases to 3. And the 4th has just been established right now for INnoVation. Yeah, that was a masterful play from Rogue. He says, who needs Vipers? I don't need Vipers. What are you on about? It's fair. Incredibly fair. All right, so let's move on in to game number 3 of this best of 3 for your Sunday series. Hit that like button if you're enjoying it, and let's be right back. This is it. This is for all the marbles. It's a best of 3. This is game 3. It's going to be INnoVation and Rogue on Triton, the ladder edition. Bottom right this time is Rogue. Top left this time is INnoVation. INnoVation fans, let's hear it for your guy. And Rogue fans, same story. I gotta say, the Korean Zergs all kind of meld together for me. Sue, we've got Rogue, we've got Dark. We've got Ragnarok, a younger, up-and-coming Korean Zerg player. But, I don't know. I just, like, INnoVation, Maru, distinct playstyles to me. I just kind of feel like Rogue and Dark are kind of the same dudes. Which might not be fair. Might just be my ignorance talking more than anything else. But anyway, no proxies, man. INnoVation, if he's going to beat Rogue, he's going to do it straight up today. No shenanigans with the proxy barracks, which can get scouted and shut down, or can get scouted and succeed, or cannot get scouted and succeed, or cannot get scouted and not succeed. Those are the options when you proxy. About a 50-50 split, I would say. What do you think the success rate is that in professional, like super high level TVZs in the last year or two? I don't know. The ones that I've seen, I would say about 50-50 is probably fair. That's probably a fair number. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think proxy play is more effective or less effective than that right now in the current meta. Because I've definitely seen players doing it more and more often. At least in 2019. Not so much in 2020, but anyway. This Reaper's name's going to be Jacob Daniel. This is Rocket's son, who could not skate due to the snow. So in a Reaper suit he goes. I don't know who... Rocket Daniel? Is that a person? Jacob Daniel and Rocket Daniel? Is that something I am entirely unfamiliar with? Probably. It happens. I'm fairly up to date on pop culture and whatnot, but there's a lot of stuff out there. Knowing all of it, I think, is impossible. Especially if you're trying to hold down a full-time job. Anyway, Reaper cruising on out. Third hatch for Rogue, going down a little early today just to avoid the block. Can it get it? And the answer is yes. 2 minutes, 24 seconds, as opposed to the 3:10 it was in the last game. Did that hurt? No. Rogue won the game anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Moving the Wounded Ling to the back. The micro is just on display right now. And the Queen is a little bit later as a result, but the Queen pops out. And our Reaper gets the heck on out of there. We're going to go fast 3CC here. INnoVation, you got a fast third command center for me in about 3 minutes. Thinking about it. Thinking about it. Watch it. We'll see if he saves up those minerals or not. I mean, the fact that Rogue got a quick third is kind of a reason for INnoVation to do it. But interestingly enough, when I'm looking for it, we don't have it yet. So, alright, man. Hellions here. Hellions here. Get your Hellions here. There's a lot of Hellions that showed up in that second game. I think INnoVation thought he had that thing won, but the hold was nuts. The hold was insanely good for Rogue, and that's part of the reason he won the game. Being able to hold an aggressive attack in the early stages, if you can't do that, you're not going to get very far in the ladder. There are a lot of really, really strong early game pushes that players are going to do, especially at the Platinum and Diamond levels, because they're easy to execute, and they're hard to hold at that level. So if you can't hold them as a Zerg player, you're not going to get out of those levels, is generally how this works. So Concussive Shell early from INnoVation today. Overlord comes in for the scout. Again, Marine Viking combo says, nah. But what does he see anyway? Not much, man. He just saw the factory reactored. I guess seeing the early Marauders. Is this a Marauder Hellbat push? Is this INnoVation trying to win this thing fast with a Marauder Hellbat push? I don't... Yeah, there's your armory. I mean, if there's Banelings, it's over. If there's not Banelings, it can do a lot of good here for the Terran. So Roach Warren is not a bad idea, but I really think Banelings are a requirement for this type of an attack. Got Overlords trying to get early warning systems set up. Hellions coming down, and we got a Medevac too. So Medevac healing up these Hellbats, healing up these Marauders. This is it. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. INnoVation put a lot of eggs in these baskets. It's 34 to 52 worker count right now. And Roaches are going to pop. But he unloads the Marauder, so the Roaches are going to do as well. This Medevac healing as well as she can in this position, not really focusing anything in particular. The Queens are transfusing as well as they can. The Roaches are starting to pop. This might actually be a hold from Rogue. The Queens were transfused so well. And that's it. INnoVation has to go home. INnoVation was making SCVs behind that. It wasn't an all-in. He wasn't continuing to stream units across the map. But it is going to be a Cloak Banshee follow-up, so that could have been disastrous. But Rogue goes to show you don't need Banelings to hold that. Spire on the way from Rogue. Terran got his Great Wall of Supply Depots. Is not making a third CC, you guys. He's going to be aggressive, and he's going to be aggressive for a while. So these Roaches, I don't know if we need any more of them. Unless you make them into Ravagers, which, again, I totally support. But here comes a bit of a Hellion drop into the main base. There are a bunch of Queens here, though, and there's a Spore ready to get shots off as necessary. And as it's capable. But nope, so the Queens see it. Respond pretty well to it here. The drones are getting out, kind of coming around back to where the Queens are, but the Hellions are fast. And the Roaches catch the Hellions on the ramp. One of them goes down. Will any of them get out of this position? The answer is I don't think that's the intent here today, Bob. And it's not. 6 drones killed, but whatevs. I think we're okay. Viking here to try to kill some of these Overlords. A transfuse is too late. And not enough energy for a transfuse anyway. Creep spreading, creep spreading. Is this drone? This drone is thinking about expanding. But maybe saw there wasn't a third base yet, but there's a third base now. INnoVation has tossed one up in the last bit. Dude, it's Hyperflight Rotors. INnoVation is going for Hyperflight Rotors today. Who does that? Well, it's 10 Mutalisks in production. That'll do. Mutas are faster than Hyperflight Rotor Banshees, but Overseers with speed are not faster than Hyperflight Rotor Banshees. And as a result, if they're cloaked, they can run away from Mutas and not die. So we'll see if that comes into play here. Rogue does decide to take a 4th base up north of his 3rd instead of over here for some reason. It's fine. Totally, totally fine. Thought about going in with another Marauder drop, but I think that got sniffed out quite effectively. And the Mutas are here. And the Mutas are causing problems for INnoVation again. Is Muta the new meta? We have definitely seen, we saw Cyril do this back at BlizzCon. Or maybe it was Home Story Cup. One of those late year tournaments. Oh, he's going to cancel Hyperflight. Hyperflight takes about 8 years to do. Oh, that sucks. That so sucks. The Roaches are here. Thor's popping out. Mutas have to get out of here. And the Roaches shouldn't be able to do enough to kill here. So that was all right. Banshees trying to do what they can, but they don't have speed. The Marauders do drop inside the main. We'll see how the Queens can stand against this. They do have their transfuse, which is nice. Roach is getting on top of these Thors and focusing them down. The repair is good, but not good enough. And that is your good game. Well played. INnoVation taps out in 8 minutes. And Rogue ends up winning the series 2 games to 1. Amazing. What an outcome there. Did not see that coming at all. Wow. Ridiculous little 3-game series there for your Sunday series. The first one is super long macro style. And then games 2 and game 3 kind of came down to Mutalisk play and a bit of a Roach counterattack here in game number 3. INnoVation was trying to be cute, in fairness. He was going for Mass Banshee, which I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've seen that work all that much. at this level, maybe if you catch your opponent entirely by surprise by it, sure. But Rogue caught wind of it, and that was all going to be all she wrote. So shorter game, but a good one. Good one nevertheless. We're looking at 10 drones down, 31 SCVs out, most of those during that final battle. Canceling the Hyperflight rotor upgrade was so stupid good. And then Rogue was able to deal with the early attack and the early follow-up on the drop without losing too much, and that was a big deal. He was still sitting around 62 workers when all is said and done, and able to keep his losses to 3,000 minerals total in an 8-minute game to the 4,500 he was able to inflict upon INnoVation. So Rogue says, I don't need no Vipers to beat Terran. I'm just here to tell you that. I don't need them. So, Falcon, you can stop saying they're required. They're not required. I'm just saying it looks a lot easier to beat somebody like INnoVation if you have them. So, that is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and your Sunday series. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. And you take care of yourself.